There is a ship currently floating in the Atlantic Ocean. It is carrying about 150 people, but 3 of them are dead. And yet, no one knows how it got on board. This is the story of the Hantavirus, a thing that has populated our feeds, our Instagram, and everything over the last week. So, today on this episode, let us go down these rabbit holes together while we discover what exactly is up with this new strain of virus and ask questions that no one's been asking so far. This is the story of the Hantavirus. Right. So over the past week, these are the stories which have been flooding in our news feeds and news cycles. Exactly what it is something that I was very curious about. So that's leading me to recording this episode as well as, finding out some interesting rabbit holes along with you together. Cool. So first things first, hantavirus cruise. A virus again spreading through means of transport, going on cruise ships. The last pandemic we had, we all know how that went about. But what exactly it is? So first things first, hantavirus is orthohantavirus, a genus of viruses that includes all hantaviruses. So obviously it's like a strain of diseases or viruses that are clubbed together. It's generally found in rodents. Yeah, very ratatouille vibes I'm getting with this. Let's go to World Health Organizations. Let's see what they have to say about this thing. Like I said, a group of viruses carried out by rodents that can cause severe diseases in humans. People get infected through contact with infected rodents or their urine droppings or saliva. Okay, so it's something related to hygiene and how people got that on a fancy ass cruise ship. So that's something that let's dig more deeper into it. There's gotta be some rabbit hole in there. Okay, infection with hantaviruses can cause a range of illnesses, including severe diseases and death. In Americas, it's a cardiopulmonary symptom, which is a respiratory illness. Fatality is up to 50%. All right, so obviously not something very amazing. The Andes virus, which is found in the South America, which apparently is the strain that is there on this cruise ship. It's a currently known hantavirus for limited human-to-human transmission. So this particular strain, the Andes virus strain, is actually transmitting human to human at a limited scale. But yeah, that's what World Health Organization is saying. Okay, let's see if we can find something more here. Cool. So what it says here, it's that the infection rate is uncommon. It's relatively uncommon to be found in humans, but it's found here on this cruise ship. Normally, it doesn't spread via human-to-human contact. But this particular strain, the transmission of hantavirus to humans occurs with contaminated urines of rodents. The infection may also occur, although less commonly, through rodent bites. Okay. To date, human-to-human transmission has been documented only for the Andes variety of the virus. All right, cool. So there you have it. There's a strain of the virus on the cruise ship, which is a variant of the hantavirus, which normally doesn't spread by a human-to-human connection like, an airborne disease, something that we might be thinking about when, you think of a fast-spreading disease. This is actually spread through some animals, but turns out this particular strain, the Andes strain, is kind of ruthless. This is basically spreading via human-to-human contact, and I want to get to the bottom of this. Like, why is this? I want to try to figure out where did this get on the board of the ship and why is it now traveling to the Americas? Let's search that up. So the hantavirus cruise ship. Okay, so states are monitoring this. There's something called as norovirus also. Okay, how did the people on the cruise ship get the hantavirus? This is something that's interesting. So PBS is covering them. Cool. So that's a news site, so we can take them for the word. Where the outbreak originated, Argentine investors suspect a Dutch couple may have first contacted the virus while on a bird watching trip before they boarded the cruise ship in Argentina on 1st April. Yeah, okay. Checks out that April Fool's Day is the day where the human world contacted a virus again. But okay, organization has confirmed where or how they acquired the disease. So, no, like we said, no one is aware of how they're going about it. Okay, so let's go on the BBC and see what exactly this is. Worldwide race to trace passengers from the hantavirus cruise ship. Health authorities across the globe are racing to trace dozens of people who disembarked from a cruise ship. Okay, so 5 cases have been confirmed, including 3 deaths on the Dutch vessels MV Hondius. Okay, where was the ship coming from? Is there anything crazy there? It's a luxury cruise of the ocean-wide expeditions, 114 guests and 61 crew members from 22 countries. So it has a potential to spread to multiple countries if they escape and contract it. Okay. The ship's journey began on 1st April in Ushuaia, Argentina, and is expected to arrive in Canary Islands on 10th of May. A spread of countries there. Passengers as of the 8th of May. This is where the ship's current location is. So near Canary Islands is what they're saying. Again, even the BBC is confirming this. So before boarding the cruise ship on 1st of April, the Dutch couple had taken a bird-watching trip through Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay, visiting sites where the species of rat known to carry the Andes strain of the virus was present, according to the WHO. Okay, so quite possibly they have gone into unhygienic places, dumpster diving for watching birds. Okay. Yeah, last time it was a lab rat or a flying lab rat. This time it's another flying creature and invariably causing this. So the ship is obviously now starting to get denials from docking onto the coast. People are obviously scared. So first is when they left from Argentina. When the first of the passenger dies right in the middle of the ocean. There must be something. What an experience that would have been. And obviously, like I heard, it's the man who first died, followed by the wife later. That's what they are seem to be confirming. 11th April and then 24th April is when the wife of the deceased passengers is flown from St. Helena to South Africa, where she dies in Johannesburg on 26th April. So yeah, that's quite a short amount of time between the husband and wife contracting and dying it. So tells you the severity of this particular thing. 2nd May is when another passenger dies. I'm sure the people on the ship after the wife left to South Africa would have been breathing so openly. Just sigh of relief, But man, on 2nd April, 10 days later, is another passenger. And now the ship is due to arrive in Canary Islands in a few days. That's quite a journey. Oh, great. There are 2 Indians on board as well. Okay, cool. That's something. Cool. I want to know about HMS Hondius. Let's try. Interestingly, ships have such a deep history, deep lore. Like even from the pirate days, you have so many ships with so many things. And the spread of diseases in the modern world from Americas. We covered Columbian Exchange before. From there, it's very much covered by ships. And what is this new thing? HMS Hondius. Oh, MV Hondius, not HMS. HMS is a British ship. It's a polar class 6 expedition vessel. Okay, cruise ship built for remote polar regions. Okay, or is a cruise ship built for a remote polar region? That's interesting. Outbreak began in April. Passengers disembarking in St. Helena's for medical care. There's so many questions here to answer. Like, why is a expedition ship, a polar expedition ship, converted to a cruise ship? First of all, okay, let's go to Wikipedia and see what's the newest entry here. It's flown by ocean-wide expeditions. Okay. Some history of the ship. Wow. Okay. So it's a cruise ship going from Argentina to Europe, apparently. One interesting thing I saw here was the location of the cruise. Let's see if this throws something up. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So Antarctica voyages. Ushuaia, Argentina. Okay. So it's not the whole of Argentina, but the southernmost tip of Argentina. I'll tell you why this is interesting. There you go. Ushuaia, Argentina is known as the end of the world, fin de mundo, and serves as the world's southernmost city with the 2026 population of earthquake. It is literally called the end of the world. And phew, man, are we living in a matrix or something? What is this? Okay, I want to read more about Ushuaia. Let's go check it out. It's the capital of Tierra del Fuego, a name we have heard from pirate stories. It's a population, okay, claims the title of world's southernmost city, right? Closely related to the Southern Ocean or either the Roaring Forties or the Furious 50s. Antarctic bases are excluded due to not having a permanent occupation, obviously. Comes from the local word, the Yagan language, means deep bay. So for much of the later half of the 19th century, the eastern portion of Tierra del Fuego was populated by substantial majority of the nationals who were not Argentines. Okay, so British subjects. It was founded informally by British missionaries, of course. Of course, why wouldn't it be? Following British surveys long before Argentine national government representatives arrived on a permanent basis. Okay. Apparently, it's a city in the southernmost region, like it's the southernmost city in the world, of course, and it had no prior connection to anything in North Argentina. And obviously, it's built by British, so that's honest. Already home to several epidemics like typhus, pertussis, measles. Okay, reduce the native population. Obviously, not included in the census data or something fishy. Interesting. In 1896, the prison received its first inmates. So apparently, there's a prison down there, mainly re-offenders, dangerous prisoners transferred from Buenos Aires, but also some political prisoners. Okay, interesting. So first of the 20th century, city entered around prison built by Argentine governments. They also built a railway to the settlement, which is now a tourist attraction called the End of the World Train. Wow. Okay, I wanna see why is Ushuaia called the end of the world. Fin de Mundo, because it's the southernmost city on the earth, located at the very edge of the South American Tierra del Fuego. Okay, so just because it's there, like there's nowhere else to go. Okay, so the prison there must have been very harsh, right? So you build something there. On the north, there's your capitals. There's nowhere else to go. And in the south, it's just the polar thing. You can't really escape there. So must have been a harsh prison there. Okay. And the world branding, the town has embraced this title, featuring attractions like the train and the lighthouse at the end of the world. Wow, sounds like a movie. Why was there prison? There you go. Prison was established there in 1900s to act as an inescapable remote penal colony, utilizing forced labor to build a trans infrastructure. Okay, that's an interesting rabbit hole we went into. So Ushuaia, the place of origin of RV Hondius, which is the vessel carrying the Hantavirus, literally began from a city called as the city at the end of the world. Make of that what you will. Alright, the previous one was quite a doozy. But while I was reading it, I also happened to glance across something. I want to cover that here. I also saw that 30 passengers from the cruise ship has left for this place called Saint Helena. Alright, pretty Christian sounding name for us Indians at least. A total of 30 passengers left the Hantavirus Hondius during its call at the remote British island of Saint Helena. The cruise ship's Dutch operator sailed on Thursday. Cool. So this happened on April 24th. And this is apparently where the whole, tracing of the passengers that were there on the ships is coming from. But that's not the rabbit hole I want to go down into. This is something interesting. Maybe today on this world, on this time period, basically, we don't know the name St. Helena's that much. But 200 years ago, this was a name that was just so commonplace. And that is because St. Helena's was the exile place of Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah, this is something interesting. Another rabbit hole that we can go down into. So St. Helena's, let's get your search rankings up again. So Napoleon's exile by the British to the remote South Island of St. Helena's in 1815. He remained there until his death in 1821 after his defeat in the Battle of Waterloo. Yeah, this is another interesting thing that has happened. So like we said, St. Helena's, an island which was very, very famous, and it's a British territory, mind you, and it housed Napoleon in 1812. So it's known for being the site for the second period of exile of Napoleon Bonaparte. From his defeat in the Battle of Waterloo until his death, the man who conquered most of Europe, really. The British thought they needed some place to put him where he could never escape. And that's a recurring theme in this particular thing. So this particular episode is made up of two places which people really can't escape from. One is the Ushuaia, the city at the end of the world, and other is St. Helena's. Apparently, they thought no one could escape St. Helena's. So apparently, Napoleon wanted to go to the Americas. And also, he kind of thought that after the defeat, the Britishers would let him live in the English countryside. But no, they chose this remote island. Obviously, apparently, there was very little services there, and his life was not really great at the end. But yeah, that's the tie-in to amazing cruise ship led fuel. So yeah, looks like we were also on the cruise ship at the end of the world. So we covered two cities, two different rabbit holes in with this particular thing. One is St. Helena's, which is the place where Napoleon was exiled to, where his final resting place is. And that is where the passengers from the cruise ship disembarked and the trace is on. The second one is the starting origin of the city, very ominously named city at the end of the world. Ultimately, the hantavirus itself. We got a little bit of an understanding what the hantavirus is, the strain of the virus, and yeah, looks like it's not something that can cause a global panic immediately. I hope this video ages properly and I don't have to eat back my words, but here's hoping that this is not as contagious. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed going down those rabbit holes with me. I found both of them interesting, and I'm going to keep digging deeper and bring you some more facts, and let me know how you like this format. This is something new we've been trying. We go down to deep rabbit holes in our main podcast with Devin, but I really wanted to cover this, and I thought what better way to learn of this than on live with you guys. So let me know how you guys liked it, and would you like watching more such episodes? And yeah, this is me, Anurag, and like we always tell you, stay curious and see you for the next episode. Bye.